Hello, welcome back to another Experts in AI video here at the AI Summit in New York. I'm Ben Wadecki, and joining me today is Ronen Fischler, Head of Data Intelligence Business Unit at Amdocs. Ronen, welcome. Thank you so much.
Hi, great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So for those of you not in the know, can you tell our audience a little bit about what Amdocs does?
Sure. So Amdocs is a public company known to be a provider of software and services for the telco and media industry. It's a global company. We're active in 85 countries. We have over 350 service providers that we're working with. You know, some of the giants like here in North America, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Comcast. Latin America, you have American Mobile and Telefonica. In Europe, it's Vodafone, Orange, and BT. And then in APAC, the Singtel family that we're supporting as well. Amdocs has been in this market for 35 years and take pride of really have a lot of experience in the telco domain. We've been working with these customers in the recent years to help them to move to the cloud, to transform themselves into a completely digital, to provide a completely digital experience. Now, of course, with 5G, we're very much engaged in that.
So Ronen, on that, you were one of the key speakers here at the AI Summit, and you talked about kind of the role in helping operators meet the demands of 5G, another emerging technology that's becoming increasingly important, especially in the AI field. Can you talk to us a little bit about the impact that technology has on telco core networks, and how can AI help as well?
Absolutely. So unlike any one of its predecessors, 5G brings a whole different level of depth of technology development and capabilities. It provides a huge opportunity for the operators to reposition themselves at the center of a technological ecosystem, providing those connected experiences to the users. But as it provides all that, it actually brings also a lot of complexity that human resources alone will not be able to manage. I mean, if you think about today, we're talking about an ability of supporting in 1 square kilometer over 1 million subscribers in one. That's the amount of data that's going to come through these systems. The amount of connectivity is way beyond something that will be managed by one person. So AI is needed even from the small thing of actually be smart about the allocation of the RF, all the way through how do I do a network slicing, how do I make sure that everything is working, how do I make sure that the systems are working 24/7 and be able to quickly isolate a problem and correct it. The opportunity here, the opportunity for the service provider is to come up with completely new type of services, new type of business offerings, right? We saw recently Verizon is publishing that they have sports in the stadium. You can go and see from different angles. To do that, you need to first of all come and curate a new business, right? You need to come up with a new offering. You need to publish it. You need a catalog for that to be able to publish it to the world. You need to decide how you're going to monetize it. What would be your billing? What would be your charging, and how are you going to bill for that, right? Once you've done all that, now you really need to connect it with the OSS systems to make sure that you're orchestrating the network and you're creating the right throughput to support it. And lastly, these services, a lot of those services are around the quality of service. It's around the low latency that you're promising. It's around the big bandwidth that you need to make sure that the customer really gets it. Right? So you need another function, which is really to help you analyze and allocate all that stuff. Everything that I just said must have AI to support it.
So Ronen, on that, AI is, as you said, essential for 5G, but how do you find it is enabled on the data management side?
So you're now hitting a very important point. The advancement that we see in AI and the advancement that we see in 5G are incredible. it's like right now 5G is a hose of data, right? I mean, the amount of data that you get is way more than you got before, and it should be fantastic for AI, right? Because AI is built upon data. If I have a good data, I can do much more. We see the hyperscalers, how they are doing so well now with Siri and Alexa and so forth, because they get a lot of data coming in, so their AI can be much, much better. So on one hand, it is great, but it brings a lot of challenges. It challenges to a place where, to begin with, is not optimized for that. Most of the operators, their data is evolved over the years, therefore it's quite siloed. It's not connected, and it is mostly in the center. Now we're talking about a completely new challenge. You need to have the data at the edges. You need to have a good data, which means that you need to filter it very, very quickly. You need to be able to filter the data at the edge. You need to be able to correlate data at the edge and potentially even aggregate it at the edge, because you're going to have functions of AI running at the edge. You cannot bring everything to the center because it will flood the center and the latency will be too high, right? So you have to start to look at the data as a network that suddenly it needs to be, it's almost like, it's a new coin that we're terming here. It's like the data is just another network, like 4G, like 3G, like 5G, there is the data network. And by network, we mean that it needs to be connected, it needs to be fresh, it needs to be organized in a way that a business human can actually understand what it is and know what the data enclose. So when you're a data scientist and you want to create a model, you know which features to take to that model. You know to choose those features, right? Today, if you look at it, if the data is not coming together and it's not clear, how would a data scientist know to find the right data to make the algorithms precise, correct, right? It's quite a challenge. So the biggest problem, I'd say right now, and the biggest challenge for the telcos is to figure out the data issue, to take the data and progress it, advance it at the same pace as the AI and the network progress, to make it connected, to make it available, to make it clean, to the sense that you can use it at the edge, in the center, and be able to make it in a way that is self-service, so people can actually take the data and use it as they need and based on the business requirements.
We've covered a lot in a very short space of time, but Ronen, I want to kind of look at the end of the year and look to next year, and specifically the Amdocs Data and AI suite of solutions. And can you share a couple of examples before we go about how you guys are enabling telcos to better use data and get actual insight-driven answers?
Absolutely. So we today process in our systems probably 80% of all the BSS data that those telco are consuming, and in some cases we're involved, or in many cases we're involved also in the network. So I tell that majority of the data is already going through the Amdocs systems. What we realized ourselves is what I just said before. To allow the leap in development of AI, to allow the readiness for 5G, we need to have the data ready, available at the right time. Let's call it, AI ready, machine learning ready, for the organization to be able to develop and deploy those needs. For that, what we've created is a smart set of collectors under the suite name of Data One that goes and collect data from network devices or from the CRM, ERP, and so forth, and create this one connected network of data that is also curated for the different needs, whether they're analytical or they're machine learning type of needs, right? Once you have that, then there is a whole layer on top of that that allows you to go and streamline the entire data scientist process to allow it all the way from finding the right, extract the right features, to developing the algorithm, to testing it, and then to deploy it, whether it's in the edge or in the center. And this is what we launched this year, and we have a few customers already that are using it. Some real big customers that are using it to create, for example, customer 360. Look at a customer, holistic view of a customer, especially important when you have a merge and acquisition, when you have the acquired company and you want to bring it on board with the acquiree. You want to transition your customers into the new platform. How do you do that? When you move those customers to 5G, you need to have that whole unique view of the customer and understand its eligibility, understand what he needs to and what needs to happen to be able to move him to that network. Those are the type of things that we do today with this system. Other places is when the rollout for 5G, we're really helping customers now with the use cases of cleansing the data and be able to look at the entire service assurance of the business. As we discussed before, an important part of the curation and capture of new services that will come in the future.
Well, we look forward to maybe catching up again next year and seeing how you guys get on. But until then, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.